There you have it, ladies and gents. Chipmunk Punk, 1980. Originally released through Excelsior Records. Was the first vehicle since the death of Ross Bagdasarian Sr. in 1972. With the support and encouragement from Janice Carmen, we have Chipmunk Punk. But in order to understand how this album came about, let's go back. Sometime in 1979, a gag happened at a radio station where somebody took a punk record or a new wave record, boosted the speed, and dubbed it Chipmunk Punk. And as soon as that record was played, calls flooded said radio stations, and they said, "Where is this Phantom Chipmunk album? I want to be able to buy it." But the thing was, there was no Chipmunk album. That is until somebody from Excelsior Records stepped up to talk to Ross Bagdasarian Jr. into possibly doing a Chipmunks album. At first I think he was hesitant because of how his father had done it and how I think it had a sense of integrity, a sense of beauty, a sense of class. You know, I don't think Ross Jr. wanted to step on the coattails of his father. But Janice Carmen would come in and talk to him. She says, "You sound enough like your father. You can do this." You know, in truth, I think she said, "You sound enough like your father. I think you can do this. Why not give it a try? If it goes good, then we'll go from there. If it doesn't, don't worry about it." And I think it was Steve Vining who he worked with. They went into the studio, recorded the backing tracks as normal. And when they do the chipmunk voices, each one has a different pitch. Each one is set to a different tone, which difference the voices in some way. Let's see. Ross Bagdasarian Jr. was Alvin and Simon, and would later do Dave Seville in later records. And Janice Carmen would do the Chipettes and Theodore. And when the album was recorded and finished, there was mass appreciation for the record, but there were a few that were less than kind about it. One such person, Rick Ocasek, the singer from the group The Cars, was rather snide about it and said, "It sucked. It sounded like they did the album in a day." Well, this was back in 1980, 45 years ago. It'll be 45 years this summer that I will have heard about Chipmunk Punk and had it in my collection the first time. Well, this record, Chipmunk Punk, resurrected the career of Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. And a lot of you younger people out there, 18 and under, are probably wondering, why didn't the Chipmunks do any recordings in the early to mid-70s? Well, sadly, Ross Bagdasarian Sr., the guy behind the Chipmunk song and the Witch Doctor and the Dr. Dolittle album and so on and so forth, would die of a heart attack at the very young age of 52 in 1972. And for many years, Alvin, Simon, and Theodore would lay dormant, recordings in some vault at Capitol. You had the Christmas albums, that's a given. They were originally a novelty act. Like Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer is a novelty. But the Chipmunks turned into something more than a novelty act. They were an act not just for children, but for kids of all ages. And I will explain that in a second. Because my mom got me Chipmunk Punk when I was 9 years old. I loved the hell out of this record. It gave me a lot of joy to play here at home. Plus, I took it to my elementary school and played it with all my friends, either at Coleraine or Mays Elementary. But as the years go on, you start going into middle school and you don't really think about it. But the last time I had the original copy of Chipmunk Punk that I had was when I went to find it one day, and my twin brother, smashed it, split it right down the middle, and tried to hide it between his bed and the wall. And when I found the record, I burst into tears, and I was so angry with my brother. We couldn't get another one because the album by then had been long out of print, and there was no eBay at the time. But when eBay came around, you could bet I started collecting a lot of Chipmunk stuff, from the curtain call theater to the little figures to many of the albums. I have over 10 plus copies of Chipmunk Punk, some of which are probably down in my basement in storage. But I do have like 3 or 4 copies up here, 2 or 3 copies of a Chipmunks Go Hollywood. I have at least one that's in pretty rough shape. I don't know if it'll play all the way through. I'm not going to pull that one out for recording's sake, for YouTube use. But I do have songs from our TV show and a lot of their CDs. I don't know where a lot of my CDs are because my basement flooded and everything's been in storage. So, yeah. But Chipmunk Punk became a cult favorite among fans of the Chipmunks. Rick Ocasek didn't really like it, but, I think the album's great. It's got a rawness to it. It's got an edge. And best of all, there's really no junky filler to fill out the album. You had guys doing the backing tracks in normal speed, and then you have Ross and Janice doing the voices. Dave, Alvin and Simon, and Janice is Theodore. A lot of great work between those two, and not to mention the producers. So they put this album out probably thinking not much about it, but it became something of a sensation and a cult phenomenon, and it resurrected the career. And soon after that, they started doing the Chipmunk Christmas, then Chipmunks Go Hollywood in 82, Chipmunk Rock in 82, the Chipmunks cartoon premieres in 83, then the songs from our TV show from the first season or 2 of the Chipmunks, up through what we have now. We go through the 80s and the 90s. We had, from the 80s, the rest of the 80s, let's see, we had Urban Chipmunk, which is, I got to find a clean copy of that. We had songs from our TV shows, Rockin' Through the Decades, Solid Gold Chipmunks, a hits package. And we had different albums from all the eras of the Chipmunks. The 35th birthday party to the A-Files, up through the dance mixes and the movie soundtracks. That's quite a legacy for 3 Chipmunks, named by Ross Bagdasarian Sr. And he got the idea for the Chipmunks as he was driving through Yosemite Park one day when a little tiny squirrel, or a little tiny chipmunk, come out from the trees and tried to dare Ross Sr. to drive over him. And he thought about that spunky little chipmunk, and he thought, well, that could be an idea for a character. And that's how he came up with the idea for Alvin, the Chipmunk who talked back to Dave. And back in the 50s, most children did not talk back to their parents. And I think that Alvin was sort of the loner / leader, Theodore the silent, sweet one, and Simon the smart one. But all three of them would get into a little bit of trouble here and there. But, the Chipmunk Punk album helped restart a legacy that is still touching millions of people today. It didn't matter whether you were a kid or a full-grown adult. People loved the Chipmunks. Maybe it took them back to a time when they were truly happy. They didn't have to worry about student loans. They didn't have to worry about going through puberty yet. And even if you were, the Chipmunks could make you smile when you were at your lowest. And sometimes they could make you cry, if you really think about it. Case in point, my mother that would show up on the Chipmunk Adventure soundtrack. That hits me in my heart every time I hear it. In fact, I shared it on the funeral page for my mom. And my brother saw that on the website. And he said, my youngest sister, always had this vision of how we all feel, and this encapsulates that. And he's expressed his love to his mother from your son, John. So, yeah. I guess the Chipmunks ain't so bad. But this version of Chipmunk Punk, which I shared with you today, I think is from Argentina. Hence the blue record that was on my turntable. I hope to share more any rarities that I have. I do have a urban chipmunk sampler around here somewhere. And I do have one record on the way, but I'm not going to tell you the title yet. I'll just film it and put it up when it arrives. So it'll be sort of a surprise. It might be a month or two before I could do that. Because I want to do some more adult-oriented content like some Billy Idol or Phil Collins or something like that. So I'm always looking to do something with this channel until I can get my other computer back. But these albums will be featured on not just this channel. If I can get back into my groovy music channel or my video vlog channel, I'll be sure to share these there. But I'm sharing these albums so that not just today's generation could enjoy them, that the young kids, if they're sitting with their parents and they don't have a YouTube channel, I want them to share these records with their children so they could listen to what we listen to. And maybe, just maybe, we could push whoever owns the rights to the 80s recordings to get Ross Jr.'s library back out. And I know Fox, aka Disney, owns the rights to the Chipmunk movie soundtracks from the 2007 up to when the last one was made. So, yeah. Let's push to get the Chipmunks' complete library out there, whether it's the Capitol, the Ross Sr. versions through Capitol Records. They need to be re-released, as well as Ross Jr.'s recordings need to be re-released with all songs in correct sequential order with, whether you have them on vinyl, you have like a book inside that tells about the history of each album, how it was recorded, how the musicians came together. It would be interesting, really. But I hope you guys enjoy these videos that I put up. I would show my face on camera, but I have a tendency of looking around while filming, and I don't really focus well on a smaller camera. But I hope you guys enjoy these recordings, and please push for Bagdasarian Productions to try and get the rights to some of these older songs, so the albums like Songs from Our TV Show, from Go Hollywood, to whatever album that has been put out within the last 40 years to 40 plus years, to be reissued and re-released in correct order, no changes, no Disneyfying anything. I liked Chipmunk Punk because it was straight, balls to the wall, fun, Of course, the chipmunks are clean. They're meant for all ages, but Ross Jr. had to clean up some of the lyrical content, and I could understand why. But in truth, the chipmunks are for everybody. You could laugh, you could cry a little, and you could remember. And I wish that Ross Bagdasarian Jr. and Janice Carmen would really think about re-releasing these records with original art, any books that can go with the records, and even their story tapes could be reissued. They could talk about the recording process. They could talk about how the records did back in the day and art concepts and that stuff. I think the Chipmunks' legacy needs to be preserved. I think it needs to be re-released and shared with the masses. And with all the stuff that we're going through now, we need them more than ever. Maybe sometime down the line, I'll put the Chipmunks Christmas albums up, but I think I'll wait until either the Christmas in July section or toward December. So we'll have to see about that. But if you have any other requests for albums, be sure to leave them in the community section, and I'll be sure to get to them when I get the time. But I hope that Ross Bagdasarian Jr. re-releases these albums because they should be heard. They should be celebrated. And you need to start showing some love to your creations, dude. Just because Rick Ocasek said that Chipmunk Punk stunk and that it sounded like it was recorded in a day, it didn't stop him from selling a lot of copies. People wanted and loved the Chipmunks. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's the drill, son. Put it in the report. But you need to listen to your fans. As Alvin the Chipmunk once said, give them what they want and they'll respond. And when I was sitting here listening to the last of Chipmunk Punk today, I was literally tearing up sitting there filming. I'm not ashamed to admit it, because a lot of it has memories tied to it, especially with my mom. She worked at Lazarus, and she got a lot of my records through Lazarus. So, yeah. And my mom and I heard that record years later. She goes, I like that album. It's really cute. I like their version of You May Be Right. Because she also liked Billy Joel. My mom was born in 1936, and she had a great taste for music. And when I hear some songs from a particular record, especially if it's a Chipmunks record, I think back to those memories, and sure, I get teary-eyed. I try not to let it get to me, but it does. So, if anybody in the Bagdasarian Productions company, I own no rights to this album. I put it up just so we could share it and pass it on down to our other members of our family or friends and be able to carry it on into the future. Better yet, you need to go into the studio, remaster the tapes, and re-release everything on vinyl, CD, and or MP3, and I'm sure people will buy it. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. I told you about the history of this album and my memories that go with it. And if you want to talk about your memories, feel free to leave your comments below. I appreciate you taking the time. I'm sorry the picture is so dark in here, but it is cloudy and it's very chilly here in Columbus. I want to send love and warmth to each and every one of you. And be sure to tune in on February the 14th. A certain birthday is coming up. I'm not going to say who it is, but you'll see a video pop up as a solo video in about another week or so. So, yeah. Well, I'm going to get off so I can get these up and clear the memory off my phone. All right, gang. Have a good week. And if you're celebrating Valentine's Day, be sure to tell your family that you love them. Tell your significant other that you love them. Life's too short. I'm telling you. And listen to these records with love and joy. And if you have any memories, feel free to share. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And I'll be back online again soon. Any album requests? Leave them down below and I'll find it and I'll put up whatever song that is allowed up on YouTube. So, yeah. All right, gang. I'll talk at you later. Take care of each other and love one another. Goodbye.